Peace Corps or the military, Americorps is a way to serve your country. Americorps sends people power and funding to communities across the country, connecting individuals and organizations to help those communities tackle their toughest challenges. Americorps is an opportunity for Americans of all ages and all backgrounds to give their time and their talent. It offers a variety of service opportunities from the classroom to the outdoors and pretty much everything in between. No matter what you're passionate about, where you're from, or why you choose to serve, Americorps is your chance to be the greater good, as we like to say. Sorry, everybody. Americorps engages approximately 75,000 members in intensive service each year and more than 21,000 locations across the country. To date, there are more than 1 million alumni, or people that officially have served as Americorps members. Within Americorps, there are 3 ways to serve: state and national, NCCC, and Vista. All 3 have opportunities to build skills and leadership while making an impact in communities, but today we're going to help you get the basics of our Americorps Vista program. But before we dive into all of that, we want to start off with a quick note about COVID-19. The coronavirus has had a dramatic impact on how we live our lives and how we serve communities. And our agency continues all these months later to keep a close eye on the situation. We currently do have Americorps members serving and doing so safely, serving remotely in some cases. We call this teleservice. And in person in others. The opportunity to teleserve varies from project to project, is not universal, nor is it permanent, but a result of the pandemic to allow members to continue serving during this time. We are accepting applications and recruitment is year-round, so we do encourage you to apply when you feel comfortable to serve. Lastly, we know that Americorps in service is going to play a much more important role than ever before to help communities recover. And we want you to be aware of all those opportunities, be a part of that. And we do hope you consider Americorps service as a viable option. We have a website of frequently asked questions where you can find any answers to questions that you may have. The link is on the slide, and we also have posted it to the chat.
All right, well, let's talk about Americorps. Americorps Vista supports efforts to address poverty by providing opportunities for Americans dedicated, excuse me, a little tongue-tied there, that actually dedicate a full year of full-time service to a project that will create or expand initiatives designed to empower individuals and communities in overcoming poverty. Since 1965, y'all, over 220,000 Americorps members have served in the Vista program, and they have joined the fight against poverty by helping local organizations expand their capacity to make a change. And what our members are doing, they serve at nonprofit, local government, or other organizations, nonprofit or other public service organizations such as local government, to help to carry out their mission through fundraising, grant writing, volunteer recruitment, and so much more. You'll get all kinds of experience in project management, partnership development, and resource development, among many other areas. This is the opportunity to serve the Americorps Vista program to help launch, pivot, or provide new career opportunities while you serve individuals in local communities. Next slide, please. And excuse me, just to give you a little overview of what is needed to be an Americorps member. Americorps members must be at least 18 years of age, a citizen or a national or legal permanent resident alien, and pass a criminal background check. Overall, candidates must have a high school diploma or equivalent. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. But yes, overall, candidates must have a high school diploma or equivalent to serve as an Americorps member. And individual sponsors may have some additional needs. but candidates must be willing to make a full-time 1-year commitment unless they are choosing to serve in a summer program. And our sponsors, they have a variety of skill and educational requirements that they need from potential members to complete the assignment successfully. But I can tell you that thriving members are practical professionals that champion sustainable solutions. And we've had a number of Americorps members to start with. For example, they might the sponsor might need someone with graphic design experience, but this member possibly didn't have the graphic design experience they needed, but they still were able to serve as an Americorps member, but they didn't have this graphic design experience. But because they were flexible and committed to learning, they developed their skill in this particular area. And other members have started with no grant writing experience, but during their Americorps service experience, some grant writing was needed during their service project. And because they were flexible and willing to learn, they were able to get the job done in this particular area. And their national service actually kickstarted their career. And fun fact, I love fun facts. 80% of our Americorps members actually credit Americorps alum, 80% of our Americorps alum actually credit their successful career with they credit it because of their service, of where they are in their career now. They give that credit to their Americorps service. So let's talk a little bit about what standard service looks like. Again, our members are serving in the Vista program, and they are actually serving full-time for a year, or they're serving full-time for a summer. But what they're doing is helping to build capacity at nonprofit organizations in order to help these organizations effectively generate the commitment of private sector resources, doing things like encouraging volunteer service at the local level and empowering individuals and communities. And here are some key characteristics of the standard member program. Again, anti-poverty projects. You'll hear us say anti-poverty quite a bit because that is our mission. And our members, again, they serve full-time for a year or full-time for a summer. You are able to work or go to school part-time while you're serving, but that school or work cannot conflict with your Americorps Vista service, and it has to be approved by your Vista supervisor. I'm someone who did do that. So yes, I speak from experience. But yes, applications are accepted on a rolling basis because we have thousands of opportunities across the nation. You can apply at any time of the year when it works out, when it's best, when it fits your schedule as far as actually when you would be able to serve. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I won't get ahead of myself because I'm excited. But you'll also receive a living allowance and non-competitive eligibility for a year of service. These are some benefits that we're going to talk about in a moment. And healthcare assistance is also available, as well as childcare assistance is also available for you. Let's talk a little bit about these summer associates, because I've thrown that word around a little bit. But our Americorps Vista Summer Associate Program offers individuals the opportunity to become engaged in the community through an existing Americorps Vista project for anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks during the summer. And here's some key characteristics, again, of the summer program. Anti-poverty project, there goes that word again. It's served anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks, and service typically begins in May, but it's going to end no later than September, early September, the first week of September of the same year. And if you're interested in serving as a summer associate, if you go to our website now, you're not going to find any summer. I would take that back. You'll probably not find any summer opportunities available because typically our Americorps Vista sponsors start posting their summer opportunities in about February. But yeah, so So be on the lookout. If you're looking for a summer opportunity, be on the lookout for February. But you're actually permitted to perform direct service while you're serving. The difference is if you serve for a year, you don't do direct service. You're on the development side of the project. For example, real quick example, if you're serving in a mentoring program for a year, you'll be on the development side. Development side means that you are ensuring that that program will be able to sustain itself. You might be doing some grant writing, volunteer recruitment, something like that. But if you're serving for a summer, you can perform direct service, meaning if you're serving in that same mentoring program during the summer, you might actually be a mentor in that program. So yeah, that's the difference between direct and indirect service. And you are going to earn a living allowance, a biweekly living allowance while you're serving during the summer as well. So yeah, so that is our summer associate program.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about where you can serve. Members in the Vista program, they can serve with projects in each of the 50 U.S. states and all U.S. territories. And these opportunities are both in rural and in urban areas, which is very nice. Let's also talk about what kind of focus areas you can serve in. We've talked a lot about like how you can serve and kind of the work that you would be doing, who serves, things like that. And we don't want to, take away from the fact that Americorps is a network that connects you with a nonprofit, a faith, or public organization, but more like we want to emphasize that this advances a cause that you care about. As we've mentioned, through capacity building activities such as fundraising, grant writing, research, and volunteer recruitment, Americorps members in the Vista program, they serve in an office setting and gain experience and leadership skills. But you can choose the service opportunity that aligns with your passions, and we have thousands of opportunities in the focus areas listed here. Let's kind of go over some examples. For example, in education, you can develop a volunteer mentor program to support students and their academic achievements to keep them on track to graduate. You can build the next generation of tech leaders by organizing robotics and after-school programs for low-income youth. Or maybe you're going to design cost-effective solutions that support teachers and tutors. For economic opportunity, you can create a partnership to bring new economic opportunities to out-of-work coal miners, or you can serve to develop financial literacy trainings or connect people with jobs. You can help our veterans and military families by recruiting volunteers and raise funds to provide housing and services for veterans without homes. Or you can support their disaster services. You can do this by supporting volunteer recruitment or placement to ensure coordination and support between organizations assisting those disaster survivors. You can help us with healthy futures. You can do this by promoting health and wellness. You can combat the growing opioid crisis, bridge the gap between individuals and health services, and even tackle food insecurity by fundraising or developing donations that connect resources to local families. The last thing I'll mention is environmental stewardship. You can expand an economic development project to address financial barriers, particularly if they impact farmers and marginalized minority populations. Such a project could include using and developing skills in grant writing, architectural planning, and even urban planning. So considering that level of sort of focus areas and how varied they are, it shouldn't be surprising that members serve with some of America's leading nonprofit, faith-based, or community organizations. Here are just some of our partners where we do bring people together and we connect individuals and organizations, like we've said, to help communities tackle their toughest challenges.
All right, let's talk about the benefits of service. There are many benefits of serving, actually during service as well as after service. First up, that living allowance that I told you about. If you look over in your chat box, you'll see the website where you can see what the biweekly living allowance is going to be for you. in a specific, because it's based on the specific county, the specific location where you are serving and what your living allowance is going to be. Check out that website and look at the particular county that you're interested in serving in, and you can see exactly what the biweekly living allowance is there. And then there's the professional development skill that you're going to get. Members are going to have the opportunity to attend in person as well as a virtual training and learn how to be a community development change agent and an effective community development change agent. And that professional development experience, I'm telling you, is going to get you somewhere, because we have created a network called Employers of National Service. It has more than 600 employers across the nation that are eagerly looking to hire our Americorps alum, because they know the skill set that you come with and the commitment to getting your job done. So they're after you, I'm telling you. Then there's the loan deferment and interest and forbearance. Interest forbearance. Individuals with approved Americorps positions may be eligible for forbearance for most federally guaranteed student loans. In addition to interest payments that accrue during your service, they may actually be eligible for repayment. That interest may actually be eligible for repayment by Americorps. Then there's the relocation travel allowance. Your relocation travel allowance will actually be based on the mileage between the zip code of your home on your application, which is defined as your permanent address, and the zip code of the site where you're actually be serving. And it's if you serve more than 50 miles rather, or more from your permanent address, you will receive a relocation travel allowance. Then there's the non-competitive eligibility. The non-competitive eligibility benefit, Americorps Vista is actually the only Americorps program that allows members to earn federal non-competitive eligibility. And what it does, it gives members an edge in the federal application and hiring process. I'm telling you, my colleague Tessa and I, we both benefited from the non-competitive eligibility benefit. And then there's the end of service award. Members can choose between the education award or a cash stipend, because you're going to get an end of service award after completing your service. And the education award is valued at a little more than $6,000. It's offered to individuals who actually complete a term of service, a year of service. And you can use it to pay for a range of educational expenses, things like repaying qualifying student loans or paying future tuition. And you can earn up to 2 full education awards with multiple service terms. Or members have the option to receive an $1,800 cash stipend in place of the education award. Big difference between the amount of the 2 awards is, as I said, the education award, it has to be used specifically on education. The cash stipend, it's yours to use as you will. And then there's joining our alumni network. You'll join an alumni network full of like-minded leaders who are passionate about improving communities. Our Americorps alum receive access to special benefits and resources. For example, many colleges and universities actually match our education award and offer additional Americorps scholarships for you. I'm telling you, those benefits are out there for you. So yeah, next slide, please. Then there's the developing your skills. We just mentioned one of the benefits of serving as a professional, benefits of serving as a professional development experience you'll get. Members can jumpstart your career, gain transferable skills, employers value. Remember what I said, the Employers of National Network. Those skills are going to include leadership, teamwork, and problem solving. As a member, you may also gain more technical skills depending on where you're serving. And remember, Employees of National Service, this connects you to, your service is actually going to connect you to this organization. And these organizations, they are public, private, and nonprofit sectors that are committed to hiring our Americorps alum. Let's talk a little bit about what to expect. So once you have signed on to be an Americorps member, you'll go through a new member orientation. It's an online orientation that introduces our Vista members to the terms, conditions, and benefits of service and key programming principles at the start of your service. And there'll be Vista webinars. These are some other professional development opportunities for you, such as building sustainability in a volunteer program, writing winning proposals, you'll get advice from an experienced grant reviewer. You'll have the option of webinars on life as a service member, also living on the living allowance. And then we have teleservice resources for our Americorps members as well. And we're not going to leave you hanging. We are going to provide you with information as a guide to life after Americorps. And this is going to assist in your transition from service to your life after Americorps in whatever form that may take. It could be continuing your education, might be finding a job, or possibly serving again. We've had someone, she is 72 years old, and she has reached her maximum amount of times that she's served. She is 72 years old, and you can serve up to 5 times. And she said, and the reason why she's serving now is because she said she wanted to max out the amount of time that she could serve. So, hey, it's no limit. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellen. I really feel like that was super informative. Every time I hear it, I feel like I learned something a little bit different. What I'm going to do right now in terms of what to expect, I'm going to tell you how I prepared for my year with Americorps Vista, but more on a personal level. I'm going to talk about what I did and experienced while living in Los Angeles, which is a rather expensive city, and kind of just talk about what I did to prepare, what I did during, and kind of what I did a little bit after. First things first, let me talk about housing. This is really important. I feel like housing is on a lot of people's mind when they're joining Americorps. So I'm going to kind of give you what I did to prepare. About 5 months before I started my first day, I created a very detailed budget. So I want to keep that in mind for everybody. About 5 months before I started, I created this very detailed budget from everything to how much transportation cost. That included things like lifts and things like that, like what I was allowed to spend for that month, to how much I would pay for birthday gifts. Using this, I calculated what my rent would need to be. I personally set it for about 60% of my paycheck. This is kind of important. That's a pretty realistic number of how much of your paycheck is going to go to your rent. So do keep that in mind. Then I started looking for an apartment. But I did, like many people, kind of run into some issues. I was struggling to find a place to live. So what I did next, which I recommend for all people moving to their new location, if you're like me and moving to your Vista location, was I reached out to my organization and asked for help. They told me a lot of things. They first asked their staff and other people if anybody wanted to house a member, which I ended up not doing, but it is a really, really great option. And I do recommend that you give it a thought. They also told me where to find safe and cheaper housing in Los Angeles, as well as introduced me to fellow members to see if we could be roommates. I ended up finding a very good apartment based on the recommendation for both housing areas, as well as using some of the resources like websites that they said had some good offers for me that they gave me to find. That's kind of how I found a place to live while living in Los Angeles on an Americorps Vista budget. Now, let me tell you about my year. While some other members do not do this and it isn't required, I chose to receive public benefits. In fact, I was helped by some of the staff members at my organization and went through the process alongside some of the clients that my organization was directly serving. I received both Medicaid and SNAP, or food stamps as it's more informally known. That was really, really helpful. And I often went to farmers markets where you can get double the SNAP benefits for fruits and vegetables. There's a couple of options for you to get internet very cheaply if you have EBT or SNAP. So just something to keep in mind. I also wanted to share about my daily life and the personal connections that I had. While this is not universal, I personally served with 4 other members. We were all pretty close. We went around Los Angeles and found everything that was free to do and visit, and we kind of did all this together. It was really nice because we all understood what it meant to be an Americorps member and kind of the challenges and fun experiences that entailed. 2 of the members had moved to Los Angeles like me, but another one had been born in Los Angeles. And that was great because he knew Los Angeles really, really well. And we had a wonderful time getting to know the city through him. The last thing I say was this: I lived very frugally, and I relied on my fellow members and other families and friends for support, for fun, for advice. But the best advice I ever had was from an Americorps member alumni. He told me to never turn down food, and I never do. All right, so that was a lot of information all at once, but we're gonna give you some more. This is the most important part of this presentation, because we're going to talk about how you actually apply and start your application process. We do recommend that you start your application process about 6 months before you're available to start serving. The application process can take a few months with the submitting, the interviews, and the background checks. Plus, if you kind of remember, I mentioned that when I was doing my process for finding housing, I had to start about 5 months in advance just to sort of figure everything out and explore my options. Something for you all to think about. So let's talk about how you can actually apply. To apply, you will need to first research opportunities. You can visit my Americorps portal to begin your search. There, you can find the program, the location, the time commitment that fits you. You can apply to up to 10 opportunities, so be sure to take notes on those opportunities that interest you so you can apply for them later after you complete your research. Then you're going to create a profile. You will input required information into the complete registration and then get started on your application. But the information you'll need to complete a profile is your social security number and date of birth, your address, plus the zip, plus the 4 other numbers that you need to kind of do. So you have very, very precise zip. Your contact information, including a phone number or a valid email address, and then your education level, military status, language and skill areas, as well as any interests that you have. When you're creating your profile, it's important to gather and identify all the information for your profile in advance, because if your progress will not be saved at each step of the profile stages, what this means that if any step is incomplete, you're going to have to start all over. So do keep that in mind. Then you're going to create an application. Here you're going to input your personal and professional information, as well as your motivational statement, which is something like a combination between a motivational statement that you would send to a university, as well as a cover letter, kind of a combo of the two. You're also going to need 2 references, academic and professional, to complete your application. Finally, you're going to submit your application. Once you complete that application, go back to the opportunities that you wanted to apply for and submit your application there. You can submit the same application to multiple opportunities, but as I just said, there's a required motivational statement. That's the university essay and cover letter combined in one. And if you're interested in applying to more than one opportunity, we do recommend that you tailor that statement for each one. It will give you a leg up in the process. Once you've applied, you're going to start your journey with Americorps Vista. All right, that was a lot of information, but we are here to help. Please write your questions in the Q&A. If it is in the chat and you have some questions in the chat, we will look through that, but we're going to answer the questions first in the Q&A. That's the best way to reach us, and we will definitely be very happy to answer them. I see we already have 2 questions already, which is very exciting, so let's pull this up. All right, we have our first question, which is, can you start/join at any time? The answer is, while you may not get the specific organization that you want, this is a rolling basis, a rolling enrollment. So that means that you can apply anytime, anywhere. You just need to make sure that it is the application is still actually open. So there's no particular time. The only time that you're going to have that, like you have to apply at a certain time of the year, is if you are wanting to become a summer associate.
Yes, and I just have to throw this in there. Although we encourage you to start, if you know 6 months ahead of time that you want to serve, we encourage you to start looking and possibly submitting your applications to allow yourself time to find that that opportunity that interests you, and also to prepare your application and go through the process. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that I served twice. And the 2 times that I did serve, I had no idea 6 months ahead of time that I was going to be looking to serve. And I actually applied for both my opportunities probably about 2 months before the opportunities are actually started. And I did. I was accepted and I did serve and completed those 2 opportunities. So it's not required that you start looking and applying 6 months ahead of time, just what works for you. But just to ensure that you have enough time to get everything in. Let's see, is this open to anyone? Yes, if you meet the requirements that we mentioned about citizenship, as well as being 18 years of age, and have completed your high school, you have your high school diploma or educational equivalent, yes, it is open to you, but please know that some sponsors do have additional education requirements, but that's going to vary from sponsor to sponsor. But yes, as long as you meet those requirements, it is open to you. Yes, military veterans. Oh my goodness, come on, apply. Yes, search for your opportunity. If you meet, tongue tied here. If you meet the requirements that we previously mentioned, yes, please apply. We have opportunities, hundreds of opportunities, thousands of opportunities across the nation, and you will be able to filter those opportunities to find the one that best works for you.
Can you elaborate on the research focus area? Is the next question.
Right. Oh yeah, go ahead, Tess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is a really good question. It's a little bit hard to say that we can elaborate on it because, like we said, we're not the one that creates the kind of what you do, your daily tasks. But I can say that a lot of the time, there's a lot of information in terms of what a nonprofit can sort of benefit from. Particularly if it's in areas where there's a lot of disadvantaged people. And I do know that a lot of the time they want to create research projects, even if it's something as just collecting sort of data in general. So maybe something that you find from a database itself, or you yourself going out into the community and trying to collect that data as the way that you can. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Crystalline. But
I wasn't quite sure when she said you elaborate on research. Does that mean elaborate on the research? Was that question? Do you think, Tessa, to elaborate on the research that you will be doing on the project, or researching the opportunity that you're looking for? I wasn't quite sure which way.
But I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. So.
Cayenne, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but Cayenne, if we didn't answer your question, would you please just clarify and ask the same question again, but just clarify it a little more for us if we didn't answer it that time? Thank you so much. And I apologize if I mispronounced your name. All right.
I will say that we have a next question is, are there start dates in summer 2022 for their 1-year program? And the answer is yes. Like I said, though, it does depend on what you're interested in. You're not going to find every project is going to be starting at the same time, but there's definitely options for you starting summer 2022.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Look at if you're interested in starting in the summer for the opportunities. Typically, it's no telling. It could be opportunities in there now that are going for a year that might be starting in summer 2022. If you start to search for opportunities, we'll post that information to the chat. But if you start searching for opportunities and you don't find what you're looking for immediately, give it a little time, come back and give it a week, give it a couple of weeks, just give it some time and come back and look again, and you could possibly find an opportunity that you're interested in. Yeah, thanks.
So the next question is, I thought that the hosting organization had to supply housing for the Vista. It sounds like you're saying that you, the Vista, had to find your own housing. Can you clarify this? This is a great question. Is the organization does not have to supply housing for the Vista.
Tessa, could you start that again? You were I'm not sure what happened, but you were kind of breaking up. So I just want to make sure they get it all.
Yeah. So the question was, I thought that the hosting organization had to supply housing for the Vista. Sounds like you were saying that you, the Vista, had to find your own housing. Can you clarify this? And this is a great question. To sort of answer it simply as possible, the hosting organization nor Americorps Vista itself, we do not supply housing for you. You do yourself have to find your own housing. However, some organizations, hosting organization or sponsors, as we call them, they sometimes can provide housing. Crystalline knows a lot more about that than I do, but that is kind of the gist of it, I should say.
All it is as far as my experience, I told you I served twice. The first time I served at a community center. Of course, community center, or the community center that I served at, they didn't offer housing. They weren't able to offer housing. However, the second time I served at a college, and because it was a college, they had dormitories. And they were able to offer me housing. But fortunately for me, I was able to stay with family that I had in the city. But one benefit they did offer me that I did take was that meal plan. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad they offered that meal plan. The food was delicious. Let's see. I'm sorry, go ahead, Tessa.
Oh, I was just gonna answer this question, so you can definitely answer it.
What aspects of the Vista program are up to the discretion of the host site, like benefits, etc. The benefits that we talked about earlier are benefits that members are going to receive regardless of the site that they serve with. Additional benefits that's up to you. That's up to the discretion. When I say you, I'm presuming that you are an organization. If your organization is able to offer additional benefits, we highly encourage that because people get excited about the benefits that they see. I do know of some YMCA programs or a YMCA program that was able to offer a membership, exercise membership to their organization. I told you about the institution that I serve with. They had the ability to offer me housing as well as offer me the meal plan. And so because they had that ability, they did do that. Some organizations might offer a housing stipend. They may not offer housing, but they are equipped to offer I'm just throwing a number out there. Because the organization that I knew was able to offer a $250 housing stipend to their Americorps member. So actually, any additional benefits is up to the discretion of your organization. And that's something when you have applied to become an Americorps Vista sponsor, that is that's something that'll be elaborated on in detail for you to consider. How can we apply to service in multiple locations? All right, Genesis, hey, you're excited about this. I'm excited for you. How can you apply? You apply, that's what you do. I posted the website to apply. When you're searching for opportunities of interest, you actually, you'll see the 4 steps to apply that Tessa talked about earlier. You see those 4 steps on the site. And with one profile, you can create up to 10 applications with one profile. A profile and an application are 2 different things. Your profile is just going to be general information about you. The application is actually going to be something that you are creating for the organization that you are submitting to. And you can use the same profile to apply to up to 10 to submit 10 applications. You can accompany that one profile with 10 applications. So that's up to you. And they can all, yes, be in different locations. As long as you're able to be in those locations, please apply. Yes. All right. Let's see.
Is it possible to get an application finished because my references send their info, but my application is still showing them as incomplete? Ooh, this is a really good question, Angelica, and probably actually more, not one for us, but for the service hotline.
Yes.
They can definitely help you with stuff like this.
I will post our National Service Hotline. I will post that to the chat so you can get that question answered, because we need you. Excuse me, we need you, Angelica. So I'll get that. I'm putting that into the chat now. The National Service Hotline.
Yeah, definitely a really good question, and they can definitely try to help you out. I will tell you that I've had this problem before, and I actually don't remember how they fixed it, but I do know that it was fixed through the National Service Helpline. Yeah. We have another question. Afternoon, I was interested to know if you can serve with Americorps Vista and then be eligible later to serve with Senior Corps. Quite simply, yes, you can. You can serve with Americorps Vista, and then you can serve with the Senior Corps.
Yes, as long as you meet the age requirement for Senior Corps. I believe. Tessa, is it 55 or 65? Or do you
65.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah, as long as you meet that requirement. We have 13 minutes, and any questions that we don't get here, we're going to be following up with you, and we'll be sure to link you to our frequently asked questions, because a lot of these questions we have seen before, but we want to get them answered for you live. But if we miss anything, we will be following up with you. Just for clarification, it's required that all Americorps Vista submit a personal and professional reference letter to apply for this for a Vista position. And do you want to answer that, Tessa? You want me to answer it?
You can answer it.
Okay, yeah. As far as personal, all your references, your 2 references have to be professional references. They can't be friends or relatives or something like that. And yes, it's required to those references are required to complete your application. If you don't have your references in there, your application is not complete. And that's okay if you put it in the chat, that's fine. But we got it here now, so we got it. But yeah, I'm sorry, Tessa, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's something as an Americorps Vista leader, I did have a lot of experiences with people would have wonderful applications, but they would just put their family and friends for their for their references, and I would have to call them up and be like, listen, we really want you, but please pick something else, pick someone else, and then usually they would, and everything would be fine. But just something to keep in mind. And us as Vista leaders, we have no qualms about just letting you know about that. Does the NCCC branch have a similar webinar?
Yes, they do. And I am going to post NCCC's NCCC's email address into the chat so that you can get the registration for their webinar that's similar to this. I'm posting it to the chat right now. I'm sorry, Tessa, go ahead.
I was just going to say their webinar is really, really good. It's super informative. So please join them. They would love to have people. And NCCC is an amazing organization. They are.
If you're thinking about going into FEMA, NCCC is a pathway to FEMA.
They're really, really cool. So.
All right. How many Veterans Affairs programs are there? Nicholas, fortunately, and I say fortunately, off the top of our head, we cannot say, and I say that because that means we have quite a few. But that is one of the filtering options. When you search for opportunities, you can click Veterans Affairs, and it will pull up Veterans Affairs and show, and you'll be able to, you have several filtering options, but that's one of them. And so when you click that, it'll pull up Veterans Affairs opportunities. Let's see. All right. Okay, we got 6 minutes. Let me go to our next question, and then we'll come back. We have some time left. we'll come back and try to answer some more of these questions. But what's in here now, if we miss it, we will be following up with you. But I have one more question for you. How likely are you to serve with Americorps Vista now that you've chatted with us? We're watching, hoping to get these answers in so we can see if it's something that you are very likely, just thinking about, not sure, or not likely at all. Don't hurt my feelings. No, I'm kidding. But I see it coming into the chat. But if you would just pick something into the poll so we can actually see a percentage of what people are thinking about. Thank you all so much. I'm so glad that they're excited. Tessa, are you excited that they're excited?
I'm very excited. This is going to be amazing, and I can't wait to see what you have all to say.
Yes. All right. Okay, we got very likely is majority thinking about it. Okay, two things. We got people thinking about it, we got people not sure. If you're thinking about it and you're not sure, that means that you still have some questions. So like I said, I'm gonna try to jump back into these questions and get a few more of them answered in the few minutes that we have left. And if we miss anything, we're gonna be following up with you. Where you'll be able to see our frequently asked questions and possibly get your question answered. If you don't see it there, you'll have our email address so you can reach out to us. So let me see some more questions. There was something about research on the application slide. Okay. But yeah, it's actually it's going to vary from organization to organization as far as what they need, and so that's going to determine your role with the organization. Let's see, Genesis. Sorry if you already answered this, but where can I expect to see the 22? When you type in the website that I put in earlier that I'm about to put in again, when you type it in again under service term, you'll select summer. But remember what I said, that our summer opportunities, possibly majority of them won't go live until February. Let's see, are all Vista participants in one location for a year, or do you travel? It sounds like you know a lot more about NCCC anonymous attendee. I don't see a name, so, but no, our Vista members serve in one location, but it is our NCCC members that actually travel. They possibly travel up to 3 or 4 times throughout the year and serve on different location sites. I think we got all the questions answered. Tessa, did we get all the questions answered? Tessa, you're on mute if you're talking.
Thank you. Sorry about that. The summer program, you do get paid, by the way, Margaret. Did we answer the questions about when the summer 2022 programs will be on the website?
Yes, I told you February is when summer 2022 it will be on the website.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, more than likely be on the website.
Let's double check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions? Yes, as we said, that living allowance. Tessa just answered that. The living allowance are anyone who serves with Americorps as an Americorps member, Americorps leader, you will receive a living allowance while you're serving, bi-weekly living allowance while you're serving, as well as the other benefits that we mentioned. All right, we got 5 minutes to go. Oh, we got some questions. We got another question. Let's see. I was clarifying to what you said. People can get professional reference. Yes, you can get a professional reference from a volunteer supervisor. No, it does not have to be from a paid job. It can be someone from the community center that you work with. If you at your place of worship, at your spiritual place of worship, if you've done someone from your spiritual place of worship could actually be a reference for you that might know a little bit about your service experience. But yes, a teacher could be a professional reference for you. No, it does not have to be from a paid job. That is correct. It does not have to be from a paid job.
Very important. Great question.
Let's see. I'm trying to scroll just to make sure. So if someone possibly did miss putting it in the Q&A, just make sure we hit everything. But it looks like everybody put everything in the Q&A for us. We got 4 minutes. Any other questions coming through? So after the webinar, I was going to do the application. Hey, Margaret. Hey. I was going to do the application for NCCC. Wait a minute. I was going to do the application for NCCC and the application for Vista. Do one at a time. Well, okay, because I don't know the whole application process for NCCC, because I believe NCCC, you actually, there is a timeline, an application timeline. Vista doesn't have an application timeline, but you cannot serve as an Americorps Vista and an NCCC member at the same time. So I would, whichever one you are ready to commit to, because if you start serving as a Vista member and then it comes around it comes time to serve as an NCCC member, you will have to leave your Vista membership, and because you didn't complete your term of service, there is a penalty in that, and I don't want you to be penalized or anything. So be ready to commit to whatever you are about to sign on to. So look into, use that email that I posted for NCCC to ask some questions, some specific questions about them, so you can make sure that you're picking out what works for you.
And they're more than willing to answer any questions that you have. Last question. I'm 52 years old. Am I eligible to join? Yes, you are. I believe technically you're only not allowed to join if you are, I think, 100 years old.
No, Dusty, you can serve if you're 100 years old.
Oh, you can. Okay, never mind then.
You cannot serve if you're 17 years old, but there is no upper age limit. You do have to be 65 years old to serve as senior corps. You have to meet the age requirement, but there is no upper. The only age limit we have is with NCCC. NCCC has an age requirement of 18 to 66. No, 18 to 66. Oh my goodness. 18 to 26 years old. 18 to 26 years old. That is the age requirement. So Carmen, you are eligible to join. Don't try to make that an excuse not to join. Repeat website, please. I am about to post it in the chat again. Go to Americorps. Americorps.gov/Vista. There's a typo in the website that I posted up earlier. Let me post it again. Okay, we are about to sign out of here. We got 1 minute left. So thank you all for joining us. I just posted that last information. You all be safe, be well, and we'll be following up with you. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
The rest of the day.
Recording stopped.